Welcome back to the Eric Krown crypto channel, wishing you a happy early start to slice Friday morning over here. It's a big Friday. It's a big bad Friday indeed, because the weekly is closing for CME, which is very likely to influence things to come for the next couple weeks here, as we'll be going over. And then of course there's actually a couple of setups going on in the shorter term timeframes as well. But of course, whenever it's a week, whenever it's the closure of a weekly, that's going to be the main focus of the video of the day, if you will. Anyways, before we actually get into it, I should let you know that we're going to be sundowning the premium features on the Krown trading application, the stuff that you see right here. What we're going to do is we're actually going to separate a few things, maybe even give a few things out for free as well, of which I'm very, very excited for. But what I should let you know is that the Jewel Light will be on its own separate service, and the price will actually be slightly higher. Here's the thing though, if you do, or if you already are in the premium as it is, nothing will change for you as far as pricing goes. You will be able to maintain your access on exactly that price point as long as you're subscribed, so all good right there. And also, yes, for the people who were on the for the people who were selected for the algo, you have 3 more days to respond, basically, before we give your spot to someone else. As you know, there's still a few people who haven't responded. So if you haven't responded, few more days until about Sunday, and then if you haven't responded by then, well, we're gonna call up the next best the next best person. All right, sweet. So let's just jump right into it. I want to start off first with the most important thing being that it is a Friday, and that is going to be the weekly closure for CME. You can see that the weekly does have a chance for the first time in over a year now to close above the mean band on the Gaussian channel. Why is that important? Because anytime that it has gotten a closure above the mean band after turning red, Bitcoin's gotten a free ride to the top side of the Gaussian channel. I think that this point is best illustrated by looking at the weekly for, of course, spot price action, which actually has the chance to do the same thing as well, although it is not closing today. It's going to be closing on Sunday, but wherever CME closes, spot will be heavily influenced to close around as well. And I would go as far to say that if CME closes above the mean band today, you're very likely to see spot do the same thing on Sunday. And then at that point, I would be looking for the next the next few weeks, Bitcoin to trade somewhere around the top side of the Gaussian channel. As you can see with the full backtested history on the full history of Bitcoin here, anytime that Bitcoin's closed above the mean band, again, the one in the middle right there, as the name would imply, it's gotten a free ride to the top side. I think the point's even better illustrated by the 5-day time frame. And let me just kind of zero in on, we got a good example right here. You can see, obviously the Gaussian channel turns red, Bitcoin close inside, boom, close above ever so slightly right here above the mean band, free ride actually in the next 5 days on this particular one. Same thing over here, of course, in good old Rona times. Haha. I wonder if you can still say that on the YouTubes. Who knows, man? We're gonna find out very, very soon though. Anyways, very slight closure above right here, free ride to the top side of the band, and of course bust on through after that. Same thing over here, so on and so forth. And of course, Bitcoin's gonna have a chance to do the same thing today for CME. Again, that would likely heavily influence spot price action to do the same thing on Sunday. And then at that point, top side of the band is coming in where? Just below 33,000 bucks. So still, as far as I'm concerned, for the next sort of potential major topping area for this particular rally, if it is not particularly here at $29,000, probably more around 32.5 to 33.5 bucks. Based off the history of this. Here's also the thing: if Bitcoin fails to close above the mean band today, that's at the point where I'd actually really start to entertain the possibilities, or at least heighten the probability of a major trap. Now, I don't think that that's actually the most likely thing to be happening right here, but that would be my criteria for such things, becoming more and more relevant. So where is the mean band on CME? The mean band, that damn mean band, once again, at it, and you can see it's at 27,637. So right now, Bitcoin trading almost $1,000 above that on CME. Obviously, it's a long day left to go, 16 hours, 5 minutes, and 49 seconds, but a closure above there, that'd be sort of like the next brick in this long-term house that Bitcoin's been building, and still, suggesting that this rally is not tapped out just yet. I do think that we're starting to get a bit more extended, but ultimately, probably does try for another move to the upside into April, maybe like middle of April. If we go down here to the 5-day, obviously the 5 days closing for spot price action later today. as well as CME's weekly, and this one hasn't really changed as far as as far as what we were looking at over here. I do want to just very briefly talk about the stats that go alongside the breakout of the top side of the band for this particular time frame, and then we'll get into the lower term time frame stuff. So let me just bring up my spreadsheets over here, and if we can actually go ahead and fully backtest the whole history of Bitcoin on the 5-day time frame on spot price action, we found that any time that Bitcoin's closed above the top side Gaussian channel, so essentially broken out, it's gone on for a pretty impressive rally and then a pretty impressive fall after that as well, actually, which we can briefly go over. But I'm just kind of showing you, what essentially we're looking at. Again, closes above right here, boom, massive rally, closes above right here, boom, massive rally. And so what I've done is I've taken a measurement from the actual breakout on the top side of from the top side of the Gaussian channel to the next major high. So in this case, it would be top side right here, breaks out, boom, where's your next major high? Right here, 28% gainer to the upside. In this case over here, similar thing, although much greater move on that first major high, about 47%. Anyways, I've gone ahead and done this for all prior 4, it's got a massive storied history on this one, but it is actually interesting because a lot of these results are kind of congruent to each other, if you will. We can see that on average, the gain was about 47%. In fact, 2 of the 4 were basically 45 and 47%, with the other 2 about 20% away from that. So it does have a bit of variance in there, giving us an overall range between about 30% all the way up to 60 or so percent. But what's also very important here is looking at the average days, which these things seem to have a lot more crossover over between. 20 days, 10 days, and 35 days, again, giving us an average of about 20 days. So from the actual closure of the top side of the Gaussian channel on the 5-day time frame, which already happened. That already happened on the 5-day for spot price action way back on over here in middle of March. We do expect about on average 20 days for that next major high to get hit. To put things into perspective, after today, we'll be working on day number 15. So basically, if we're going to be going with these averages, again, like early mid-April is where we'd probably be looking for that next major high on this rally. And tentatively speaking, the next sort of area of interest upon continuation validation would be like 32 to 33,000 bucks or so. Anyways, again, we haven't spoken anything about the lower term timeframes. That's there's going to be ebbs and flows there, obviously. So let's actually just get into the lower term timeframes right here. There's a couple things of interest right now. One of them, let me just double check the time. All right, yeah, we're good on time. One of them would be with the HPDR indicator. I think that the 4 hour we went over yesterday was still very much relevant. You can see that Bitcoin essentially, rejects the highs, tests the lows, rejects them thus far, and coming back into the median of this overall 4 hour range. And so more importantly, nothing's really changed from there. What I would say though, however, is if you do start to see closures below the 4 hour range lows at 27,750 on a closing basis again, at that point I would be looking for a nice big move to the downside somewhere around 26,750. What's interesting about that is that if Bitcoin were to do that today, that would obviously nullify the Gaussian channel condition, and at that point you'd probably have a pretty good heads up that it's a trap. It's probably a trap. And probably gonna have, and while it probably bounces there, it's probably gonna have a lot more downside into the next couple weeks. But for right now, things do still favor the Bulos as far as I'm concerned, as far as the probabilities go. Anyways, going down into the hourly time frame now, there actually was a setup yesterday. There was a setup. I guess it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. We can see right here in this case that the hourly did close below the blue 50% of historic returns range lows, starting right here, which I'll actually mark off with this green vertical bar. That initiates, as always, a secondary condition, which is looking for a decline in the moving average of volatility in close over closure, which obviously happens here as well. Looking at that white moving average again. So those two conditions were settled, and that means that we can go and reference the statistics over here, which do suggest, a higher probability of a bounce. So this is for the hourly, and out of 50 tested iterations, 36 did have a nice upwards bounce with an average return of about 2.25% almost over the course of the next 10 or so hours, but a lot more variance in there, to be fair. So about a 72% strike rate. Again, to be honest, I don't like I don't know if this is like the best one here to be quite honest with you. But what essentially would invalidate this more importantly, thus saying that we probably have about a 2.5% move to the downside. Well, that would be with a closure below the current range lows at about 27,700 or so, kind of in alignment with that 4 hour as well. So if you start to see that, then very likely Bitcoin coming down below 27 actually. But until then, there theoretically is a higher probability of a bounce from here, potentially, somewhere around about 2% to 2.25%, which would put Bitcoin basically back at around 28.8 to 28.9, which seems like kind of a bit of a stretch here. Like I don't feel too comfortable talking about such things. But we can take it one step further. Actually, we can go reference another strategy over here that we can actually use the YouTube strategy tester for. It's going to be for the Jewel Light. I've spoken about this strategy many a time on this channel. Basically, it is this very, very simple. Anytime that the Jewel Light gets below 35 and then turns white, initiates a setup, which obviously happened right here. And if we go ahead and use the old backtester there, well, you can see that is firing off an entry right there. And then we can go and reference, of course, the statistics over here. And of this one, there's been 400 tested iterations over the past few years, of which 63.5% have been profitable, meaning that it did produce an upside bounce, like a sizable upside bounce that initiated the profit taking criteria. I would say that on this particular one, the stats are a lot less impressive. Which funnily enough, the reason why they're a lot less impressive is because if you include Thursday data, well, it's not too fucking good. And guess what? This particular iteration right here that just fired off, that was a Thursday. That was actually a Thursday. So that was yesterday, obviously. So this would be that would be kind of like a bit of a warning signal that this would be the one that's a little more likely to fail. But still, even including all of that, it does have a higher probability for an upside bounce. Same thing on this one, basically, looking at somewhere around like a 1.5 to 2, or sorry, about a 2% move. 1.5 to 2% move. This is on CME, by the way. Again, that'd put Bitcoin basically back at around 28.8 to basically 29. So something like that. Again, invalidated very obviously with a closure below about 27,900 in this case on CME. But yeah, with those two things in mind, it would suggest that very, very short term, Bitcoin probably tries for a bounce here. But ultimately, it's where the higher term timeframes start to settle, especially today for the weekly, and then obviously on Sunday as well. That's going to likely dictate the follow through to come. And then, I just fucking forgot everything, didn't I? Today is the end of the quarter, by the way. Today's the end of the quarter, and I think also PC or PPR or whatever the fuck. More economic data coming out as well, which I completely forgot to talk about because it's over here in the events tab, which you can actually find for yourself on the Krown application. It's, by the way, 100% free to do as well. But yes, marks are going to likely move off that, and of course, until then, it's best to be watchful of such things. And we'll come back tomorrow and analysize the quarterly and the monthly and all higher term timeframes that are relevant of that time. So with that said, I want to wish you the best as always. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.